Field packing up. Should get away pretty well here. Yes, they've got a green. And immediately it's Alan Bates that scoots to the front away from Wrightson, followed through there now by Dennis Mowat, who's at Walker, and then comes Gillespie from Gillespie behind him. Eric Lavender is still well back in the field, but Alan Bates, the Branxton driver, skipping right away from them here as he comes down the straightaway from Wrightson, followed there by Mowat, then Gillespie from Gillespie behind him Walker, the Australian champion Norman Bamback getting into the action, but Ron Letham has spun in the corner. Ron Letham, the driver spinning in the southern corner here, has been responsible for the race being brought to a halt. Now he will go to the rear of the field, and that unfortunately for Alan Bates will bring him back to the field. Okay, the yellow light flashing under the acceleration zone here, and Bates is away. Bates away again from Wrightson. There's Gillespie going up around the outside of Mowat, followed by Walker, then Gillespie from Lavender, Dimmock, then Bamback, followed by Letham and McEwen in that order. But Alan Bates skipping away nicely again here. He's making every post a winner, opened up a gap, catching the breeze too as Bates down the straightaway into the corner, the track in perfect condition, and Craig Wrightson hangs onto a nice tight line down low, followed by Gillespie applying pressure to him now. Then behind him comes Mowat, followed by Walker, Gillespie, then Dimmock trying to go round the outside of Bamback, or is it Bamback coming through the inside of... Oh, Gillespie shut the door right on his face. Gillespie right in his face, but the real tussle is going on here with Bamback and Gillespie back at the tail of the field, and there goes Bruce Dimmock round the outside, but Bates is the leader. Bates away from Wrightson, followed by Gillespie, then Mowat from Walker, followed by Gillespie again, then Bamback behind him is Bruce Dimmock, Lavender, and last of all, or second last, is McEwen, and last of all is Ron Letham. But by gee, Bates has got this thing singing along pretty well, and Bates the leader. Wrightson made a boo-boo, and that allowed Gillespie to go up into second place, followed through by Mowat. There's Bamback and Gillespie still having a real ding-dong tussle there with only 2.5 laps to run, and it's Bates the leader. Here he comes. He's opened up an enormous gap as Bates over Gillespie, followed by Mowat in 71, then Wrightson from Walker. Bamback round the outside of Gillespie now. There goes Dimmock up on the inside of him. Lavender second last, third last, then comes McEwen, and last of all is Ron Letham. But it's Bates with one to go. This is a fine drive by this bloke. Bates from Graham Gillespie, then Dennis Mowat, Wrightson from Walker, followed by Bamback, who's made some ground. But it's all over. Put your glasses down, you can give up now. And it's Bates the winner, and that's a fine win. That's one of the best drives I've seen for a long time from the modified division. And then Gillespie into second place from Mowat, followed by Wrightson, then Walker from Bamback. Behind him came Dimmock, then Neil Gillespie, Eric Lavender. Second last to finish will be Don McEwen, and that was Ron Letham that failed to complete the course. Well, quite a tremendous drive on that occasion by Alan Bates, the car beautifully prepared, and he certainly made use of that good draw. He drew the number one spot, but even so, I doubt if anyone else would have taken out the event had he drawn midfield. Yellow light is flashing. That indicates to the drivers a start is about to be declared. Got a green. Gary Jeffs leads them as they go into the first corner. Dennis Morgan trying to make best use of his good draw. Then Ron Scott going round the outside of Ken Good. But it's Jeffs leading at the moment from Morgan, who is taking the high line. Morgan now going to the front, and he'll start to skip away here. He'll go for the doctor now. Morgan from Scott, then Gillespie, who's made ground very, very quickly, a former Australian champion Gillespie. Morgan the leader, Graham Gillespie going up there now, former New South Wales title holder, followed then by Ron Scott. Behind him is Neil Gillespie, then coming, let's have a look, that's Walker, Kevin Walker from Dennis Mowat, followed by Eric Lavender going through around the outside. but it's Dennis Morgan the leader. Morgan the leader with 12 to go. Gillespie is within striking distance of him though, and then Neil Gillespie followed by Ron Scott. Behind him is Walker and Mowat. Then coming Lavender from Dimmock. Craig Wrightson looking to the inside of Good, and there goes Norm Bamback trying to gain a place or two also. But down the back straight and into the corner, the last corner, as they come down the main straight away, it's Morgan from Gillespie, followed by Gillespie. Then behind him is Walker from Scott. Mowat getting in the main Scotty there, Scotty coming back again, then Eric Lavender and Bruce Dimmock, followed by Craig Wrightson, Norman Bamback, Don McEwen making ground, and the rest of them tailed right off. Graham Gillespie got to Morgan very quickly, but he's not doing much about it from there, and Morgan leads away from Gillespie as they go down the straight, and his brother Neil in third place.
Dennis Morgan is leader, but he's being pressured at the moment by Graham Gillespie, and in fact Gillespie trying to come through on the inside of him there, but Morgan came down on the inside of the slower car, and that hampered Gillespie's efforts to get past him. Now Morgan under a great deal of pressure in the green car number 29 from the blue car number 2 of Gillespie. Gillespie's right behind him, waiting for that right moment to pounce. Gillespie tries to put the pressure on the outside of Morgan, hitting him into drifting up a little bit, but Morgan keeps around about a centre track line, and Gillespie trying to find the way past him at the moment. Morgan is keeping himself nice and tidy up front. Now here's a chance for Gillespie to dive through on the inside. Morgan on the outside. Gillespie can't quite get him on the inside, and still these two having a great struggle up front, with Morgan doing the better at the moment. Now Gillespie moves up on the outside. Morgan tries to keep the foot down and does so too. This time Gillespie says, right, now drift out and I'll nail you. Well, Morgan did drift out a bit too, and yes, Graham Gillespie did go through on the inside of Dennis Morgan, and this time Graham Gillespie takes up the running. Dennis Morgan is in second place now, then Neil Gillespie running third, and Bruce Dimmock in the Pantera is in fourth place at the moment and looking to try and get around Neil Gillespie. He got almost a bump with the fence there, but Dimmock goes around the outside of Neil Gillespie now, and he might be the immediate danger to Graham Gillespie if he can get up close enough. There's only 4 laps to go though as they come down Main straight away this time. Graham Gillespie in the blue car number 2 is the leader. The green car number 29 of Dennis Morgan. Then the number 9 car of Bruce Dimmock wending their way through the slower traffic now. Then Neil Gillespie followed by Don McEwen. Now Graham Gillespie is the leader. I think he's clear enough though of Dennis Morgan and Bruce Dimmock to take this one out. There's only 3 laps to go from here, and Dimmock will have to try and get clear of Morgan if he possibly can to have any chance whatsoever of catching Gillespie, but he's not going to do it. Now Dimmock is through on the inside of Morgan and into second place in the Pantera, the low swing Pantera, but there's only 2 laps to go from here, and I don't think Dimmock can catch Gillespie in the space of 2 laps. Let's see if he can. He's got Gillespie in his sights at the moment. He's looking down the gun barrel. He said, right, I'm going to fire, and he's given it the fire. Bruce Dimmock sets off after Gillespie. There's only a lap to go. There's only 15 metres the difference. Can Dimmock make it up? He's grabbing in Gillespie quickly. Now there's only 10 metres the difference. Down the back straightaway. Dimmock diving at Gillespie. Gillespie's probably got enough in hand. Here's the last ditch effort from Dimmock. He didn't have quite enough. He fires on the outside. They race to the line. It's Gillespie just in front of Dimmock, followed by McEwen, then Morgan, followed by Gillespie. Next car through was the 70 car, followed by the 71. Yes, they were back onto me and I couldn't quite see which number was which. Then Lavender, followed by Wrightson and Letham. Jeffs was next, followed by the 68 of Mowat, the 44 of Scott, 32 of Good, and 17.
Hey, that was a good drive of Don McEwen.